Chapter 7. Love in Young Adulthood. Searching Freedom and Confusion. Have you ever found yourself in your early 20s wondering where your heart is headed? Did you feel that once adolescence passed, the world opened up like a boundless horizon, full of possibilities, but just as full of questions? Love in young adulthood is like an adventure on a freshly paved road. You speed enthusiastically toward the unknown, music turned up high, yet every so often you hit a crossroads and you're not sure which way to go. It's the age when at last you have the freedom to choose for yourself, what you study, where you live, whom you spend your days and nights with. But that freedom comes bundled with inner searching and countless confusions of the heart. Do you want a forever love, or would you rather enjoy fleeting experiences? Are you ready to tie your soul to someone else's, or do you feel the need to fly solo a little longer? Let's explore together what love looks like in the prime of youth with all its beauty, dilemmas and paradoxes. As a young adult, the taste of freedom is intoxicatingly sweet. After years of parents setting your curfew, now no one stops you from staying out until sunrise. You feel like the whole world is your playground. You can take a spontaneous city break, switch jobs, change majors, or even move countries without answering to anyone. And in the midst of this new territory of independence, your heart still demands its right to love. Here comes the first big challenge. How do you reconcile the desire for freedom with the need to love and be loved? Love in young adulthood sometimes feels like an improvised dance. On one hand, you want to dance with someone to feel another person's warmth beside you, to move in sync to the music of life. On the other hand, you also want your solo moments, to leap and move freely on the stage without considering anyone else. It's completely normal to feel this tension. At this age, you're building your life piece by piece, career, friendships, personal dreams, and it's only natural not to want to give any of that up. True love, however, shouldn't feel like a cage. If you feel the relationship is confining you, you'll likely sound an alarm. Am I losing something of myself by staying with this person? The key lies in balance and communication. Loving in your 20s and early 30s doesn't mean abandoning your dreams or your freedom. It means finding someone you can fly alongside, not in chains but in harmony. It may sound idealistic, but think of it this way: two people in love can be like two birds flying in tandem. Sometimes they glide close, wingtip to wingtip. Other times each soars a bit on their own, tracing different loops in the sky, yet always returning near one another. If you fear love will hold you back, remember that a true partner won't want to clip your wings. They'll encourage you to explore, and in turn you'll learn to offer the same space. The need for freedom and the need for love aren't mortal enemies, though they may look that way at times. They can coexist beautifully when both partners respect and support each other. Of course, it isn't always easy. There may be moments when one of you wants a road trip with the gang and the other would rather have a romantic weekend for two, or one gets a job offer in another city while the other feels abandoned. Situations like these can test a relationship, but they can also strengthen it if you handle them honestly. Let's talk about what we're feeling and find a way we both feel free and loved. At its core, young love teaches you something essential. Love isn't possession. It's not about keeping someone by your side at all costs, but about walking alongside them, even if your paths sometimes wind differently. It's like two hikers on parallel trails in the same forest. Each carries their own backpack, but they can see one another between the trees, share a smile, and meet at the rest stops. Personal freedom and love can coexist as long as there's trust. If you trust that, even though the bird flies free, it will return to your shared nest, then you can love without fear. And if you yourself feel the need for space, explain it gently to your partner. Today's freedom can bring back new stories to share, experiences that enrich your relationship, not destroy it. Sometimes distance even ignites deeper longing and appreciation. The young adult years are a marathon of self-discovery. You're still asking who you really are, what you want from life, what values you hold, and which professional path to choose. Surprise, all these questions show up in the way you love. Like it or not, love becomes a mirror that reflects you from new angles. Through the way you love and the way you're loved, you start to understand yourself better. As a teenager, love was new territory that defined you through belonging. I've got someone, so I'm grown up and important. At 20 plus, the focus shifts. Relationships are no longer just a trophy of maturity. They become a field of inner exploration. You might discover that, in a relationship, you're more jealous than you thought, and then ask where that insecurity comes from. Or, conversely, you realize you tend to lose yourself and do everything for the other person, forgetting your own desires, and that prompts you to examine self-worth and personal boundaries. Every conflict, every embrace, every compromise you make for love gives you clues about your character. It's like an ongoing test, not graded by others, but by your own soul. In young adulthood, many relationships also become identity experiments. You try on different roles, whether you realize it or not. In one relationship, you may be very affectionate and dependent. Later, in another, you're more distant and guarded. With one partner, you might develop your artistic side because they're passionate about it too, while with another you discover your adventurous side, a relationship all about travel and new experiences. These versions of you surface depending on the dynamic between you. And no, it doesn't mean you're changing for your partner in a fake way. It means each love story brings out something different in you, like a kaleidoscope whose pattern shifts with every turn. Sometimes that can be disorienting. If you've ever asked yourself, who am I, really? The person I was with Michael, or the person I am with Jennifer? It's a sign you're becoming aware of your many facets. The good news is that all of them are part of you. Youth is about trying things and seeing what fits. By loving someone, you find out which values are non-negotiable for you. For example, you realize you need absolute honesty because you lived through a lie and it hurt. Or you discover which passions you want to keep in your life. Maybe you set aside a hobby for a while to spend more time with your partner and realized you felt incomplete without it. It's important to pay attention to your heart's lessons. Every relationship in your youth, whether it lasts 2 months or 5 years, teaches you something about yourself. Think of them as chapters in your emotional autobiography. Sometimes it helps to step back and reflect. Who was I before this story? Who am I now? What have I discovered about myself thanks to us? Yes, us, because you and the other person create a small universe from which both of you emerge changed. If you can approach love as a process of self-knowledge, not just as an end in itself, so I won't be alone, you'll tap into a trove of wisdom from your youth. In practice, the way you love is part of how you shape yourself into an adult. Of course, there's also the risk of losing your identity along the way. In the intense desire to be loved, some young people make the mistake of molding themselves entirely to a partner's expectations, abandoning friends, routines, even their style or future plans, just to please the other person. If you recognize yourself here, don't be too hard on yourself. Almost all of us have, at least once, felt the urge to shape ourselves around the person we love out of fear of losing them. But remember, healthy love helps you grow, not shrink. If you feel you no longer know who you are without your other half, take it as a signal that it's time to come back to yourself. Continue your personal exploration, spend time alone, cultivate your passions, talk to the friends who were there before the relationship. A partner who truly loves you will encourage you to be yourself, not a copy of their expectations. In short, love in youth is a process of self-definition. With every I love you spoken or heard, with every choice you make together, you place another piece in the puzzle of who you are. It's a wonderful time when your heart and your identity dance a daring tango, sometimes stepping on each other's toes, other times moving in perfect sync. And from this dance you emerge increasingly aware of who you are and what you're looking for in love. Let's be honest, youth is also the apex of physical attraction and romantic curiosity. Hormones no longer wreak havoc as chaotically as they did at 16, but they're not far off. A 20-something still has blood running hot and a heart eager for new experiences. That means you'll inevitably feel attraction to people, sometimes to many people, at different times. And here comes one of the great confusions of this age. Is what I feel love, or is it just desire? Picture this. You meet someone new in a class, at work, or at a party. Your heart skips, the conversation flows easily, the chemistry is instant. You find yourself floating all day, spellbound by a smile or a compliment. If you're already in a relationship, it can be scary. How can I feel attracted to someone else if I love my partner? Does this mean I don't love them anymore? If you're single, excitement floods in. Maybe this is the one, the chemistry feels so strong. In both cases, you risk mistaking the illusion of attraction for love, or conversely, falling deeply in love but initially dismissing it as just a passing crush. The biology of a young heart plays its tricks as well. Dopamine, the feel-good neurotransmitter, kicks in whenever someone new gives you attention or affection, delivering that euphoric high. Adrenaline gives you a rush when you flirt, and oxytocin, the bonding hormone, can jump in if there's touch or emotional connection, making you feel quickly attached. With that kind of cocktail in your veins, it's no wonder we sometimes proclaim, "I'm in love," after only a few days or weeks. In reality, it may be infatuation, that early phase in which everything about the other person seems perfect, simply because your mind is intoxicated by its own feel-good chemistry. Confusing love with attraction is almost a rite of passage in youth. Everyone experiences it in one form or another. So how do you tell deep love from a fleeting passion? There's no mathematical formula, but time is a reliable ally. True love needs time to take root, whereas attraction is a flash in the pan. It burns intensely but can fizzle out just as fast. If, after the novelty wears off, after the butterflies settle, you still care for that person, respect them, and genuinely care about their happiness, that's a sign it's more than chemistry. On the other hand, if the magic evaporates quickly when the first differences or obstacles appear, it was likely just the charm of novelty. For young people in relationships, temptations can pop up everywhere, and it's important to know that feeling attracted to someone else doesn't automatically make you a bad person or unfaithful in your head. It's almost impossible never to notice someone attractive. We're human, not programmed robots. The difference lies in how you manage that attraction. Do you recognize it as normal and fleeting and choose not to act on it, refocusing on what you already have? Or do you start comparing and doubting your current relationship with every new spark? The latter throws you into a roller coaster of confusion and anxiety. Many young people ask themselves, have I truly met my soulmate, or is there someone more compatible out there waiting for me? The hard truth is that perfection doesn't exist, and no matter how wonderful a relationship is, there will always be interesting people in the world. What matters is whom you choose to love with maturity and commitment. Youth is a time when some people try out multiple relationships, while others commit to just one from the start. Either path is valid, as long as you're honest with yourself and with others. If you feel you want to explore and meet different people before settling down, that's your right. But be careful not to hurt someone by promising forever when what you're really seeking is adventure. And if you've already found someone special and want to stay, don't let your own grass start to look less green just because you spot other alluring options in the distance. You might ask, but what about physical desire? What about that wild passion? Well, yes, passion is an important piece of the puzzle at this age. Physical intimacy becomes an ever more present part of relationships and can deepen the bond between two people, or it can create major confusion if your feelings aren't on the same wavelength. A moment of intense passion can create the illusion of eternal love, just as a temporary dip in spark can make someone wonder whether the love has gone out. Youth teaches you that love has different rhythms. Sometimes it's a campfire, steady, constant, warm. Other times it's fireworks, brilliant, blazing but brief. The ideal is to find a balance between the two, and that comes with experience. Until then, you'll confuse things and you'll make mistakes, and that's okay. From every confusion of the heart, you'll emerge with clearer ideas about what you want and don't want in love. Young people today are experiencing something unique, an abundance of options. Unlike past generations, the new generation has an entire global dating marketplace at their fingertips. Dating apps, social media, the ability to travel and work anywhere, all of this creates the impression that potential partners are practically unlimited. Sounds great, doesn't it? So many choices should mean better odds of finding someone perfectly compatible. Paradoxically though, too many options can lead to paralysis and dissatisfaction. And in love, an excess of choices breeds new kinds of confusion. Imagine an enormous all-you-can-eat buffet, laden with hundreds of delicious dishes. It's wonderful to have variety, but if you try to sample everything, you risk not truly enjoying any one dish. Relationships are similar. Some young people hop from experience to experience, always afraid of missing out on something better. Swipe culture in dating, left or right, unfortunately encourages this consumer mindset. If something isn't perfect right away, the next partner is just a swipe away, right? The problem is that in constantly chasing perfection or novelty, you risk being left with a void. Because no matter how many people you meet, deep connection requires time and emotional investment. If you run from it at the first obstacle, you'll be left with many beautiful beginnings and no meaningful continuation. On the other hand, having the freedom to choose and not settle for an ill-fitting relationship is a good thing. The younger generation has the courage to say, "I deserve to be happy. I'm not staying in a toxic relationship just for the sake of being a couple." That's a remarkable step forward. But sometimes the line between having healthy standards and harboring unrealistic expectations gets blurry. Bombarded with images of the perfect couple on Instagram and romantic movies that always end in happily ever after, many young people imagine that love should always look like an ad, never boring, no arguments, full of surprise gifts and grand gestures. When reality hits moments of monotony, misunderstandings, the small daily sacrifices, some panic and ask themselves, "Are we really meant for each other? Maybe with someone else everything would be perfect." The truth is, no real relationship looks like social media. Behind a happy couple selfie there may be compromises, long conversations, days when each person keeps to themselves and gets on with their work. And that's absolutely normal. Perfection in love isn't the absence of problems, but the shared willingness to solve them and grow together. If you grasp this early, you'll avoid much of your generation's confusion. The fact that there are infinite choices doesn't mean you have to consume them all. Just as after too many sweets you start craving something substantial, after a stretch of exploring you may long for stability and depth with someone. Another hallmark of our times is the fear of commitment many young people feel. Not because they're incapable of love, but because they're afraid of making the wrong choice and regretting it. It's like spending so long choosing a movie on Netflix that you end up not starting anything, afraid it won't be the best possible movie. Only unlike films, in love there is no best or worst choice in absolute terms. If two people fit, grow together, and are happy, then that's the right choice, even if somewhere in theory there might be someone with whom you would have had a different kind of happiness. What matters is what you build with the person beside you, not the fantasy of what might have been with someone else. Technology also brings advantages and pitfalls. Instant communication keeps you close to your partner even when you're physically apart. But at the same time, if they don't reply right away, your mind starts spinning scenarios, as we've also seen in teenage love. For young adults, trust becomes the center of gravity. You can't survive emotionally in a world with so many temptations and distractions if you don't develop trust in yourself, that you can make good choices, and trust in your partner, that they'll be loyal and honest. Otherwise, you risk living in constant anxiety, forgetting to actually enjoy the relationship. So, the era of infinite choices challenges us to clarify our priorities. What are you truly looking for in love? You may discover it through trial and error. You'll learn that choosing someone isn't signing a sentence to boredom, it's a chance to enjoy freedom together. Yes, exactly. Freedom isn't just for the solitary individual. Two people who love each other can be free together. They can explore the world arm in arm without constraining each other, if they allow it. Love in youth, lived in this modern context, is like a beautiful maze. You have many paths. Some lead to small dead ends, others to pockets of temporary paradise, but all of them carry you closer to the exit where emotional maturity awaits. Every choice, every person you love, or think you love, reveals something essential about you and what you truly want. Today's confusion is the teacher preparing you for tomorrow's clarity. Jennifer sits on the old wooden bench in the park where they used to meet back in high school. The autumn afternoon sun plays golden in her hair, but worry shows in her eyes. She clutches a letter, in fact, an email printout that she keeps folding and smoothing out. Along the narrow path, through the fallen copper leaves, Michael appears, his steps hesitant. He smiles when he sees her, but the smile fades slightly when he notices Jennifer's expression. "Hey, what happened?" he asks, sitting down beside her and trying to catch her eye. "You look like you've seen a ghost." Jennifer moistens her lips, feeling her heart pounding in her throat. She hands him the paper without a word. Michael takes it, puzzled, and begins to read. His eyes widen slightly as he moves down the lines. "You got into Paris? That master's program?" he blurts, looking up at her. "Jennifer, that's amazing." "Yes, I got the answer today," Jennifer whispers, forcing a smile. "It's great." Michael looks at her, confused, then breaks into a wide smile and eagerly takes her hand. "It's fantastic. It's your dream. I've known since you talked about wanting to study there. Congratulations, sweetheart. I'm really proud of you." Jennifer feels her eyes prickle. She would have preferred him to scold her, to get upset. Maybe that would have been easier. But the enthusiasm and warmth in Michael's voice make it even harder. She gently withdraws her hand and looks down at the carpet of leaves. "Michael, the master's program starts in January. In a few months I have to be there," she says slowly. 2 years. The words hang between them. Michael shifts on the bench, and for a moment he too looks away from her, staring off at 2 children playing, tossing a paper airplane back and forth. 2 years, he repeats quietly. 2 years away from here. "Away from you," Jennifer adds, barely audible, as if confessing something shameful. Silence falls. Jennifer wrings her hands. "Say something, please, anything," she thinks, taking in Michael's profile, brows slightly furrowed, jaw clenched. At last, Michael draws a deep breath and looks at her. "Okay, we'll make it work," he says, with a smile that looks plastered on. "We'll see each other on holidays. We'll talk on video. 2 years go by fast, don't they?" Jennifer feels a lump in her throat. She knows Michael is trying with everything he's got to be strong, but in his eyes, she sees the same fear she feels. "Michael, I don't know if it can work. I mean, 2 years are 2 years. In another country, a different time zone, different lives," she stops, feeling the ground give way beneath her. How could she tell him? She hadn't even sorted out her own thoughts. "Are you saying that we should break up?" Michael asks in a low voice, as if it were blasphemy. "I don't want that," Jennifer answers quickly, looking at him in desperation. "It's just that I don't know what's right. For you, for me. A long-distance relationship can be torture. What are we going to spend our youth on video calls, see each other at Christmas and Easter, the rest of the time you here, me there?" Michael runs a hand through his hair, a clear sign of his agitation. "I don't want us to be apart either, but I want you to be happy. And I know how much you wanted this master's program. I can't. I have no right to ask you to give it up." Jennifer feels the tears threatening to spill over. She bites her lip and whispers, "But I also know that 2 years like this could hurt us, change us, that maybe you'll meet someone else. Maybe I will." Michael turns to her abruptly, pain etched on his face. "Do you think I would, Jennifer, seriously? Do you really think I could forget about us like that?" "Not now, Michael, but in a year too, who knows? We're both young. Maybe someone else will come into your life, someone here with you day after day. It's easy to say now it won't happen, but the reality is that we don't know," Jennifer says in a rush, with the raw honesty only fear can summon. Michael looks at her for a long moment. He sees the tears poised to fall and feels his heart torn between 2 powerful emotions. On the one hand, the sadness and fear of losing her. On the other, a strange anger that Jennifer believes their love is so fragile. "The reality is that I love you, Jennifer," he says, each word deliberate, his voice trembling slightly. "And I believe in us. Maybe I'm naive, but I truly believe we can get through this. If you really want to do your masters, then you'll do it, and we'll find a way." Jennifer shakes her head slowly, and 2 tears slide down her cheeks. What if we change? What if, in 2 years, you want something else, someone else? What if I become a different person there and, oh, Michael, I'm so scared, she admits between silent sobs. In a tender gesture, Michael wipes her tears with his thumb, then cups her face in his hands. I'm scared too, he whispers. Of course I'm scared, but do you know what would scare me even more? Knowing you're here beside me, unhappy because you missed the opportunity of a lifetime, watching you shine a little less each day because you gave up on your dream. Jennifer breaks into brief sobs and presses her forehead to Michael's chest. He pulls her into his arms, gently stroking her hair. I don't want to give up on us, but I don't want to turn our life into an agonizing wait either, she murmurs. Then it won't be agony. Michael tries a smile, lifting her chin so he can see her eyes. It'll be hard, yes, but let's look at it differently. It's an adventure for both of us. You're going to Paris to follow your dream. I'm staying here to build my career, and we'll support each other from afar, and in 2 years we'll find each other again, more mature, more accomplished, and maybe, who knows, maybe we'll be ready then to take the next step. Jennifer wipes her nose with the back of her hand and manages the faintest hint of a smile. What next step? She asks in a lightly teasing voice, though tears still glisten on her lashes. Michael pretends to gaze mysteriously into the distance. Well, in 2 years we'll be proper adults. Maybe I'm just saying a ring, perhaps. Jennifer bursts into a short laugh through her tears. Michael, you're talking about marriage and I haven't even left yet. I was actually wondering if maybe you wanted to break up now. I don't want to break up, Michael says seriously, taking her hands in his. I want to fight a little for us. And the joke about a ring, it was just my way of saying I see you in my future. I don't want anyone else. If, God forbid, 2 years from now we realize we've changed and it doesn't work anymore, we'll deal with it then. But let's not jump to the worst case scenario. Let's believe in us now. Jennifer looks into his eyes, those brown eyes that had been with her through so many nights of studying together for exams, so many walks beneath the chestnut trees, so many movies watched wrapped in each other's arms. She feels her heart grow lighter. The fear hasn't vanished completely, but the love seems to grow, fueled by her admiration for the boy before her, by now a man who knows how to be vulnerable and strong for her sake. All right, let's try, she says softly. And promise me something, Michael. Anything. If you ever feel it's not working, that you're unhappy or tempted by something else, promise me you'll talk to me openly. I don't want us to find out too late that we've lost our way. Michael gently squeezes her hands. I promise. But promise me the same. If you feel lonely, or if Paris makes you, I don't know, want something else, tell me. I promise, Jennifer whispers. They hold each other tight. The cool wind gently shakes the coppery leaves around them, sending them rustling at their feet. For the first time that day, Jennifer breathes deeply without feeling that thorn in her chest. She knows it will be hard. She knows the tears will still fall when the longing becomes too much. But here, at this crossroads, she no longer feels alone. It's the two of them, hand in hand, determined to take the rough road of distance together, even if far apart. Michael kisses her forehead, then grins roguishly. By the way, Paris is the city of love, right? I'll have to visit you. I can't miss the chance to stroll along the Champs-Élysées with my girlfriend. Jennifer laughs, and the crystalline sound of her laughter makes Michael glad. He hasn't seen her smile in hours. I'll be waiting. And just so you know, we'll have somewhere to attach a lock on the Pont des Arts, she says conspiratorially. 2 locks, for double security, he jokes. They rise from the bench, still holding hands, and stroll at an easy pace toward the park exit. The sun sketches their close silhouettes along the path. The horizon ahead is open, unknown, but now both their hearts are calmer. Jennifer and Michael's story perfectly captures the dilemmas of young love discussed in the first part of the chapter. Jennifer faces an important choice for her future and identity, the opportunity to study in Paris, which triggers an inner conflict between the desire for freedom and the desire to keep her love. We see Jennifer fearing the loss of her identity and chance for growth, a facet of self-discovery, while simultaneously fearing the loss of her relationship. Michael, for his part, experiences the fear typical of a young person in love, who feels threatened by distance and the possibility that his partner might meet someone else, precisely the fear born of confusing attraction with love in a context of newfound freedom. Jennifer's thought, "Maybe you'll meet someone else there," captures this reality well. At this age, the possibility of other options can sow insecurity and jealousy, even when the love is real. Michael's initial reaction, trying to be enthusiastic and supportive, followed by a moment of hesitation and worry, also illustrates how fragile emotional balance is in such situations. They swing between wanting to be together and not wanting to limit each other's freedom. Ultimately, their decision to try a long-distance relationship with honesty and trust shows maturity. They've learned to communicate sincerely, they admitted their fears, agreed to be open if something wasn't working, one of the remedies for the confusions of youth. Instead of making impulsive decisions based on fear, for instance breaking up immediately to avoid pain or conversely, ignoring the problem and suffering in silence, Jennifer and Michael choose the path of dialogue and positive compromise. The moment Jennifer voices, "Maybe someone else will come along," and Michael flinches, shows how attraction versus love can hurt even at a hypothetical level. They reaffirm their love precisely to banish these demons of insecurity. Michael's joking about a possible future together with a ring in Paris is significant too. He's trying to reinforce mutual trust and give them both a reference point to look toward, a shared goal, their reunion 2 years from now as an even stronger couple. Their story confirms the key ideas, that young love involves difficult decisions and the quest for balance between heart and reason, between passion and life plans. Jennifer and Michael move through a temporary confusion. What do we do with our relationship in the context of this new freedom? And manage to overcome it through honesty, mutual support, and honoring each other's dreams. They show that love can survive individual freedom if both partners allow themselves to grow both separately and together. Thus, their behaviors open discussion, expressing vulnerabilities, promising loyalty and effort, offer a concrete example of how theory applies in real life. Communication and trust are the pillars that can sustain love even when personal paths temporarily head in different directions. At the end of this journey through young love, what remains? Not every question has an answer yet, and that's natural. Youth is, by definition, the era of big questions and answers in the making. What matters is understanding that you're not alone in these experiences. Every young adult goes through these ups and downs. Young love is like a mountain landscape, peaks of excitement, valleys of doubt, winding trails of trial, springs of pure happiness, and at times unexpected storms. But step by step, this trail shapes you. The searches you undertake now, whether about identity, the right partner, or the balance between me and us, bring you clarity for later. The freedoms you claim to love, whom you choose, to go where you want, to say yes or no in a relationship, teach you who you are and what you value. And the confusions you face refine the wisdom of your heart. See this stage as preparation for the mature love to come. Just as a sculptor shapes their work, chip by chip, each experience in youth shapes your capacity to love deeply and authentically. You will learn to give freedom to the one you love without fear, because you've understood that love isn't about shackles. You will learn to love yourself while loving someone else, because you've realized how important it is not to lose yourself, and you will learn to recognize the difference between a passing passion and true love, because you've lived through the confusions and fireworks of the heart and seen what remains after the smoke clears. So if you're in the midst of these searches, freedoms and confusions, don't be discouraged. Enjoy them. Yes, you read that right. Enjoy them, because they're part of the magic of youth. Love with your whole heart, make mistakes, try again, talk about what you feel, listen to your intuition as well as your reason, and when you find yourself at a crossroads, have the courage to choose the path that calls you. Young love is neither simple nor risk-free, and that's exactly why it's so unforgettable. Every crossroads you navigate now will make the road ahead clearer. And at the end of these experiences, you'll discover yourself stronger, wiser, and ready to love at an even deeper level.